Okay, let's get into the news. What did Trump say?
As President of the United States, I will always support Jewish Americans, and I will always be a friend and a champion to the Jewish people. I have been.
Imagine if Trump said this about Muslims. If he said, I've always been a champion of the Muslims. I've always been a champion of Muslim people. What's the reception going to be? Is it going to be positive, or are they going to say we're being infiltrated? Or are they going to say terrorism? Or are they going to say that we should put America first? We should be Christian first. He says this about Jews, and everybody cheers.
And I will say, if you go back 10, 12, 15 years ago at the most, the strongest lobby in Washington was the Jewish lobby.
There you go. I won. I was right. I told you. I say this, I get canceled. Trump says this, he gets an applause. The difference is he's taking almost $1 billion from this lobby. In the words of the sitting American president, the strongest, most powerful lobby in America is the Jewish lobby. Remember this. It's no longer anti-Semitic. It's coming from the sitting president. Next time we talk about who's in charge, what's really destroying America, who's really in control, where the money's going, listen to the president.
It was Israel. That's no longer true. You have to be very careful. You have a Congress in particular which is becoming anti-Semitic.
You're talking about
You have
Ilhan Omar.
AOC +3. You have those people. Ilhan Omar. She hates Jewish people. And you have to be very careful.
I'll say to Ilhan Omar, you're not helping out Muslims at all. Sometimes I think that she might be a plant in order to bring a bad reputation on Muslims and make people think that it's all anti-white, anti-Semitic, anti-America sentiment. Ilhan Omar, if she really is Muslim, just stop doing what you're doing because it's not working at all. All you're doing is making people hate us more. You're doing a horrible, horrible job. So it's either you're a plant or you're just an idiot.
Careful, because there's been a big change. If you go back 15 years ago, I'm not Jewish, but my father was very friendly with many, many Jewish people, was honored by Federation. I would go with him to Federation of Jewish Philanthropies and many other things. And we grew up respecting and loving Jewish people. You don't even think about it. In Brooklyn and Queens mostly. And my father didn't go to Manhattan. He never went to Manhattan from the standpoint. He could never understand how in Brooklyn you could buy a piece of land for $3 a foot and how in Manhattan you had to pay $1,000 a foot. He said, I can't get that. I don't like it.
A lot of people don't know Trump's backstory. So Trump's father was a huge real estate mogul, mostly in Brooklyn and Queens, and is responsible for expanding a lot of those boroughs. So once Trump became an adult, he's like, how do I one up my dad? Because Trump's father was a lot of that Trump empire was Trump's dad. So obviously the son needs to expand and needs to improve upon his father. Trump was all Manhattan, the Trump Tower in Wall Street, all the buildings on the Upper East Side. Manhattan was Trump's borough. Brooklyn and Queens was his father's.
I like to buy it for $3, so it was different. It's a different thinking. In a way, I'm glad he didn't do that because he let me have some of that fun. And I had a lot of fun in Manhattan. We did great. But my father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country is the Jewish lobby.
There you go. If you ever doubted it, listen to the president. 4K.
It's the Israeli lobby. It's not that way anymore. You have a lot of people in your way. You have a lot of people.
Then who is it? So if it's not that, if it was true when Trump's dad was in charge, then who is it now? Is really Ilhan Omar? Is that the one who's stopping it?
Don't want to help Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that don't like Israel. You have a lot of people in Congress that, in a way, I think.
And why would they? Why would they? And I think maybe a white pill, even though the world will be destroyed and the Antichrist will come and all this stuff, and inevitably 90% of the world there will be destruction, and then Jesus returns. But maybe a white pill before then is that Gen X supports Israel about 20% less than the boomers do. The boomers dick suck Israel and they will till they die. Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the support for Israel is about like 8%. It's almost nothing. Charlie Kirk was very scared of that fact. The new generation, none of us support Israel. So as we elect more people, as more people come into office, things could change. Things probably will change. This undying allegiance to this country in the Middle East with a different religion, different culture, they won't have the same power that they once had.
doing an amazing job, Michael. They hate Israel. They hate Israel. And if you would have told me 15 years ago that that was possible, Jason, I would have said, there's no way. There's no way that's possible. But it's happening. And obviously it's getting progressively worse. Less so in the Senate, but the Senate's starting also. You get glimmers, you know, when I'm in the back rooms talking to people, you get glimmers of statements that you say, whoa, where did that come from? So we have to be, Sid, we have to be very careful because bad things are happening. And then you see what goes on in Australia. Or October 7th. How about October 7th? And then you have people that deny it ever happened. How about the people that deny, like they deny the Holocaust, but, you know, you figure, well, that's just many years. Well, October...
Yeah, all the time they say, deny the Holocaust, but these people all denied the genocide going on in Gaza for the past over 2 years. They get on this moral high ground, and even then, there's people in the White House, they roll up their sleeve and they're like, look at the codes. Look at that. I was a Holocaust survivor. It's like, when I was a kid, I remember... in 5th grade, they brought in Holocaust survivors and they were 95 years old. And it was like, these are the last Holocaust survivors out there because this happened in the 40s and the 30s. And you're like, yeah, that's so long ago. And now I'm 27, I'm almost 30 years old. And still you see Holocaust survivors come out of nowhere. It's like, how are you still alive? How are there still, and they look like they're like 80 years old. They look the same age as Trump, but they were adults and they remember the Holocaust. How was that even possible? Where did they keep coming from? But they come in and they look at this. But they get on this high ground about denying the Holocaust, even though it happened almost 100 years ago. But the Holocaust that was happening and that still is technically happening right now, they all deny. So it's not really about death. It's not really about genocide. It's not about the loss of life. It's about what political agenda the Holocaust serves. Does it serve theirs? Or does it serve another one? Do they actually care about life? Or are they trying to push a narrative? Are they trying to serve their masters?
7th is not many years at all. And you have people that deny October. I saw tape that I wish I never saw it, actually. I wish I never saw it. I got to see tape that some of you got to see. But as president, I got to see things I wish I never saw. But there's no denying it. But then they'll say, oh, the tape was a rigged tape. It was a tape that never existed. They made it up. It's just propaganda. I don't know if they
just like the Epstein Island. Was that all propaganda? Was that done by the Russians? Was that just made up too? What about that? What about the fact that you were best friends with Jeffrey Epstein? Was that all made up? Was that horrible? Did that make your stomach turn? Because Trump, hearing about Epstein's Island for the first time, that made America's stomach turn. That made all of us gasp. That made us horrified. And then we found out that you were best friends with this guy. And then we found out if we criticize this and if we want to figure out who is on this island, you don't want their support. You don't want our support. If we want to figure out what happened here, you alienated everybody who was appalled by what happened on Epstein's Island.
But I don't think they believe it. But you have to be very, very careful. Bad things are happening, and we're not going to let that happen. While I'm president and the DOJ and Harmeet, we're not going to let it happen. But please be vigilant and careful because you have some bad people that are now in Congress that were unthinkable to be in Congress 12, 13.
You know what even becomes more obvious too?
Manhattan. He never went to Manhattan.
I want to play this again and respond to Hassan Abi.
$3 a foot, and how in Manhattan you had to pay $1,000 a foot.
Someone clip this about Hassan.
Different thinking. In a way, I'm glad he didn't do that because he let me have some of that fun. But my father would tell me the most powerful lobby that there is in this country.
Listen, Hassan.
Is the Jewish lobby.
Hassan, there you go. You say it's all about Zionists. You say it's all about imperialism and capitalism, and you refuse to acknowledge the simple fact that even the president is saying the most powerful lobby in America was the Jewish lobby. Not Israeli, not Zionist, not imperialist, not capitalist. You could put on your fucking Chairman Mao outfit and parade around and say that, oh, Sneeko denies the Holocaust. No, I don't, dumbass. You went to the Streamy Awards wearing a Chairman Mao outfit. That guy killed 60 million people. Are you a Chinese genocide denier, or are you celebrating it because you're trying to LARP as him? You fucking idiot. He's not saying Israeli. He's saying the strongest lobby is the Jewish lobby. This is that fact that you like to act like you're better and holier than thou. Holocaust denier. My family came from the Holocaust. My name is a fake name. My last name, my first name is Nikola. My last name is fake because they came from the Holocaust. My grandfather, his whole family was wiped out in Europe after the Holocaust and during the Holocaust. He moved to Haiti and married a black woman. Then you get my father. My father marries a Filipino woman, you get me. My name comes from that. It's all, we figured it out. It's not real. Obviously, the Holocaust happened, but it happened almost 100 years ago. Let's talk about what's happening today. What is benefiting the Jewish lobby? What is the Holocaust going on right now? What is happening in Gaza? Where's our tax dollars going to? What party does Catholic J.D. Vance have during Hanukkah? Who is paying all of Trump's campaign? Who's bribing him on stage? Miriam Adelson puts his arm around Trump. Mark Levin puts his arm around Trump and says he's the best Jewish president. He's not saying Israeli president. He's saying Trump is the best Jewish president. You can't ignore this fact. Zionism does not exist without Judaism. That doesn't make you anti-Semitic to say it's true. Moving on. Puka got a touchdown. Congrats. What does Hasanabi think about this? Okay, and also for everybody, all these people, all these frauds on Twitter that talk about the Islamification of America, all these frauds saying that America is a Christian country, everyone that says that we need to put America first, says that there's too many immigrants, there's too many different cultures coming in. What about this in the White House? Is this what you want? I don't see any pushback from these frauds. They say, oh my God, look at Dearborn, Michigan, you fucking idiot. Look at the White House. Dearborn, Michigan, oh my, they're praying in Times Square. They're asserting dominance in Times Square by praying. The difference is Muslims in New York, what do they make up 8% of the population in New York City? They pray in Times Square. Look at what's happening during Hanukkah in the White House. What's asserting dominance? Praying on a sidewalk or doing this ritual in the White House with the president right here? Are they going to do this about Eid? Or you think there's going to be an Eid celebration? Absolutely not. Both are wrong. What is this whataboutism? Look, people are going to... America now, what is it? 50, 60% white Christian. The rest of... There's a lot of immigrants here. To get upset about Muslims praying in the street is retarded. That's what happens when there's a lot of people. They're going to pray in the street. It's legally... This is what's allowed. The White House is supposed to be a place where we have separation of church and state, idiot. It's not the same thing. If we have separation of church and state, then this would not be a ceremony in the White House. A giant menorah here.
The USS Liberty
all these people, all these donors to Israel, and the president being part of the celebration. If there was separation of church and state, this would never exist. Church and state is different than church and a sidewalk. Get it through your head.